Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to a very new and very different series to the channel, with the surprise reveal of last night's new Marvel fighter, Marvel Tōkon, a 4v4 fighting game developed by none other than Arxis, the studio behind games like Guilty Gear and most infamously Dragon Ball FighterZ. A game that I ever so briefly did cover on the channel. Now it must be said that this was a reveal that I was really surprised by, as it's something I did not expect from these developers. So seeing them being given the opportunity to work on yet another big IP, especially after what they did with Dragon Ball FighterZ, gets me really excited for what we do have here. Now with that said, this video is going to be slightly different from what we normally do here, because at the time of this game's reveal, we don't have any official character bios for any of the fighters. So in terms of lore, story and narrative, things are pretty bare. But outside of this, we do have a dev diary that does document the creation of this game, something I'll link on screen now that you can click on, and that I do strongly recommend you watch before actually watching this. A PlayStation article which documents all of the finer details, something I will be breaking down for you here in a second, confirming some key gameplay elements from the trailer, and actually some of the hidden Easter eggs in the trailer that do hint to future characters that will more than likely wind up being on the base roster here. So that said, and everything covered here, let's get to that PlayStation article to kind of give us all an idea of what Marvel Tōkon is all about. Now for the sake of not fluffing up this video, I'm going to get to the key and important details in this article, and we'll leave a link for it down below if you want to go over the finer details. But as for how it plays mechanically, this is what they have to say. Generally, a team fighting game requires a player to learn multiple characters. But for Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls, you only need to master one character in order to play the game. We have designed the mechanics in such a way that you can perform a variety of actions with either traditional fighting game inputs or simple inputs. With a press of a few buttons, multiple characters can appear on screen to provide backup or attack together, creating a new and exciting team versus battle experience. And I feel like that was conveyed through the trailer pretty damn clear, because it's very evident in my mind that the DNA in this game clearly takes influence from Dragon Ball FighterZ. And in terms of player knowledge and skill, this fighting game does look to tailor to both audiences, having your more traditional fighting game inputs, like your quarter circles, your half circles and your dragon inputs, whilst having an easy modern input system, something more tailored to the casual side of the audience. But it doesn't quite stop there mechanically. We do have your tag switching, we do have your assists, your team up tag grab, and we do have your defensive tagging mechanics. Now back to the article. With a roster consisting of Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Storm, Ms.Marvel, Star-Lord, and Ghost Rider, ARC producer Takahashi Yamanaka states, "There are so many amazing Marvel characters that it was quite a struggle to choose our roster, but we did have some criteria for the selection process. First and foremost, we wanted to include characters who feel to be the face of Marvel. At the same time, we also needed to select characters that would give us a balance of battle types and playstyles. Lastly, we wanted to sprinkle in a few surprises and leave room for characters who've never been playable in a fighting game before." So in terms of roster, characters, and who you're going to wind up seeing here, we are no doubt going to see some of your iconic faces. Like in my mind, I have no doubt we're going to see like a Wolverine and a Thor, but I like that they're going for unorthodox characters or ones that have never turned up in fighting games. Frankly, the idea of them including the Sentry with a Void in store sounds very cool. Wishful thinking on my part, but something I love to see all the same. So I'm interested to see what new faces they're going to be incorporating here. Now in terms of gameplay mechanics, we do have some pretty juicy details about how the game plays. From short range jabs to cinematic ultimate skills, each character features a bespoke of normal, special and unique attacks inspired by their abilities and power in Marvel's lore. ARC have gone to great lengths to ensure that gameplay styles, movement and feel of these legendary characters is fresh, new and wholly unique to Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls. But it's not just the individual gameplay of the characters that has been enhanced. Significant dedication has gone into reimagining and redefining what it means to be a tag fighter. Team vs fighting games have a long tradition of 2v2 or 3v3 team formats, so this is something we discussed in depth within the development team. We went back and forth many times from thinking we might be better off making a 1v1 or sticking to the established 3v3 format. At its core, we felt that the appeal of a team versus fighting game is the intensity of battles with multiple characters on screen at once. Additionally, one of the appeals of Marvel Comics is seeing the vast cast of characters coming together to create all kinds of unique team-ups. With these ideas in mind, we concluded that creating a 4v4 team versus system would be the best way to not only create those over-the-top moments, but to further evolve the fighting game genre. As we've seen from the trailer, you still got your normal punch fighting buttons, your character specials from every fighting game, as well as what you could deem as a super, which is really cool, although it must be said, it doesn't look like team composition will have exclusive supers. So think of something along the lines of CyberConnect's Naruto Shippuden series. At least right now, it's still very early days. I haven't gone into detail about that, but we'll learn about that over time. And what's not explained here, but still something definitely worth pointing out, is that we haven't seen the UI, so we don't know how the meter system works in this game, if there's a sort of sparking mechanic from Dragon Ball FighterZ, or how exactly health works within this game. Because with it being a 4v4 fighter, in a more traditional fighting game sense, you would expect each character to have their own health bar. But here, that might not actually be the case, as it may just be one health bar divided amongst 4 characters here. Again, it's not been confirmed, but still absolutely something I wanted to point out here. And the final section of this PlayStation article is stages. The stages come to life in Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls, filled with Easter eggs for eagle-eyed fans to find. Most stages also feature multiple areas. These transitions between areas are not just action-packed and stunning to witness, but they also play a strategic role. Check out the screenshots for Marvel's New York City to see what you can find. And this does largely summarize the article, but the stages here are actually kind of important in a way, because in typical ArcSys fashion, there's a lot of personality and detail that's actually gone into them that do hint at future characters here, because when we're on the New York City stage, we can in fact see J. Jonah Jameson in the background, so the Daily Bugle is indeed alive and thriving, although I definitely do not expect to see J. Jonah Jameson as a playable character. But as we start to pan to the left hand of the stage, we can see references to the X-Men's Dazzler. And with only one member of the team being established right now, it would not at all surprise me if she was to make the cut. Or at the very least as DLC if I'm ambitiously aiming that far ahead. Now if we are to look on the right hand side of the screen, we can see a Janet Van Dyne shop, confirming the existence of the Wasp, and maybe even the possibility of her being a fighter. And the final bits of detail in this stage, if we do look into the background, is the Baxter Building, the Avengers Tower, and Oscorp. Of course, hinting at the Fantastic Four, which, let's face it, is more gonna likely make the cut in a 4v4 fighting game, the Avengers Tower, which is impossible to miss in today's modern day media, but most interestingly so is actually Oscorp here, more than likely hinting that we'll get to the Green Goblin, who's someone who I absolutely see making the roster here, as there's only currently one villain on the roster, and it's not a Spider-Man villain at that. Plus, in-game there's actually posters of him attempting to become president. Oh, and it's also worth pointing out, because I just noticed this, if you launch a character up high enough into the stage, you can actually see Roxxon Corporations, as well as Fisk Tower. Now shuffling along to the Hell's Kitchen stage here, we can see Fogwell's gym in the right hand side of the screen, homaging Matt Murdock's father. But most interestingly so, we can see one Matthew Murdock peering out a window, strongly hinting that we will indeed be seeing Daredevil here. And the final stage we do have here is an Avengers Memorial, which of course does feature the Thunder God Thor, who is noticeably absent right now on the roster. But seeing as his design's right there, he is essentially a part of the Avengers Trinity. So in my mind it's only a matter of time before he's playable. As for the significance to why the memorial is here, we don't kind of know its narrative significance currently. Maybe there's a case or situation where they fell and have been in hiding for a very long amount of time, which is something that's been tackled quite a few times in the last few years. So they may be redoing it with their own flavor and twist here. Now, as details go, that is everything we know about Marvel's Tōkon fighting spirit. From the gameplay mechanics to the characters, to the Easter eggs that kind of foreshadow who's coming next. This does largely cover everything that we do know right now. I won't be breaking down the gameplay just yet, as I do think we'll see more in like a beta of sorts, or maybe individual character trailers. But for now, let's simply enjoy what's here and what we do have to see, because this is a game I'm very excited to cover, as it blends one of my favorite developers with one of my favorite franchises. So please do keep an eye out for more content from myself from this game moving forward, especially when we do know exactly what's going on with the game's story and who it's gonna kind of revolve around. Whilst Arxis aren't really known for their crazy big story modes, I mean, you got Dr. Doom there, man. You're already starting off extremely strong, so I'm very excited to see what comes next. That said though, thank you for coming by, thank you for sticking around. I know it's very different from the norm here, but it's something I do wish to explore and add to the channel. So you still can expect to see more of this, as well as more MK, as well as possibly Gears of War, depending on whether or not we get a reveal this weekend. And please, if you enjoy this sort of content, seeing as it's very new to the channel, please do give this video a thumbs up, as it greatly helps this video and the channel. And please do subscribe if you want to stick around for all things news and game related for Marvel's Tōkon Fighting Souls. For now everyone though, that's been it for me. So as always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.